Hello and happy Friday. It's Coach Becky with Life Sport Fitness and your Friday Fit Tip. So we are finishing out the month of March with a couple of Friday free-for-alls. I asked you all, what is one of your bigger fitness frustrations or health and fitness frustrations? And the feedback I got from posting on Facebook was, I'm feeling stiff. I'm just feeling really stiff and tired. Interestingly, the people who mention that are tax accountants and software engineers. You sit a lot, right? So last week I showed you some upper body mobility things to do to loosen up a little bit and get the kinks out if you sit a lot for work. And I actually sat while I did it, although I told you I'd rather you stand. This week, I'm going to show you some lower body mobility and stretches to do, but I'm actually gonna have you standing most of the time. What happens when we sit a lot? We get tight hip flexors for one thing, and our abdominal muscles get a little bit lax. Now, I'm not gonna go down to the ground and throw down some core work exercises for you because these are things I want you to do at work, but I will concentrate on getting the hips opened a little bit more, get the hip flexors stretched out and the hamstrings stretched out, because that's where we get tight if we sit a lot. So what I show you will take you less than 3 minutes to do. And I suggest strongly that you get this done several times during your working day when you're sitting, if you sit a lot. If you're on Zoom a lot and it's not a one-on-one, you've got a whole panel of people, could you, if you're not the moderator, could you turn off your video and get these done while you're dealing with the meeting? Yeah, maybe you could. So here's what we're gonna do. First one is seated. You're gonna take one ankle across your knee. Ladies, if you're wearing a dress for work, this would be one you'd wanna skip. Although if you're on Zoom, it depends on where your camera is, I suppose. But we're just gonna lean into that stretch. So I am pushing down on my thigh very gently. I'm not gonna force this stretch. And I might even come up and then drop back in and do it again. Maybe 3 or 4 repetitions of just rocking that deep hip stretch. Obviously, you're going to want to do the other side as well. The next few, I'm gonna have you stand up right by your chair. And we are going to stretch out the hip flexors because this is one of the areas that gets very tight when we sit. Tight hip flexors can lead to low back pain, and if you're an exerciser and you do squats, could actually affect your squat negatively if they're too tight. So I'm gonna stretch my left hip flexor by bringing my left leg back. I'm gonna hold on to my high back chair here. I'm squeezing my left butt cheek, and I'm trying to take my hip bones and point them slightly up. So if they were facing forward, now I'm gonna squeeze that butt cheek, lean back a little bit, and those hip bones come up just a little bit, like they're facing the top of the chair. And I'm getting a nice stretch in front of my left hip flexor there. And then obviously, I would do the other side. The other thing that I'd want to have you do maybe every hour, every other hour when you can is get up and do some calf raises and do some butt kickers. And here's why. I want to drive some more circulation, so it's really pushing the blood through the blood vessels of your lower body, because you don't want to get things kind of stopped up and have issues with circulation, right? So just doing a few of these little fellas, it's not strength training, all it is just moving, and literally a minute, right? Heel raises and butt kickers. And the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna stretch the back of the leg because it gets tight when we sit. Now I have wheels on my chair, so I have to be careful not to push too hard when I do this, but I'm gonna take one leg up, I'm gonna keep that knee soft, and I'm gonna slightly lean forward until I feel a stretch in the back of my leg, and I'm just gonna hold that. If you're worried about your chair going out from underneath you, just make sure you're near a wall and you can hold onto a wall. All right, so obviously I would do both sides. So that is your primer on how to feel less stiff if you're working on tax forms and tax returns, or you're doing some coding. I need you to take a break every couple of hours. Every hour is better. Literally a 2-minute investment, maybe 1 hour it's upper body, the next hour it's lower body. A 2-minute investment of your time in a 60-minute time block, you will feel so much better. So if you're feeling stiff, give those a try. This is Coach Becky with Life Sport Fitness. Make it a great day.